Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines we're tracking for you this evening. The equity markets shrug off an initial bout of weakness, but trading in a range in the absence of any significant triggers. The sensex and the nifty post a record close for the fourth session in a row. Mid-cap stocks under some pressure. The mid-cap index snaps a 5-day winning streak today. In his first interview since the big merger, HDFCBank chairman Atanu Chakrabarti tells CNBC-TV18 the bank now has a huge opportunity to cross-sell products to a much expanded customer base. Adds lower cost of funds will make the mortgage business more profitable. Also says branch expansion and digital banking will go hand in hand. Shares of IDFC surge as investors digest the share swap ratio for the merger with IDFC First. But shares of the bank drop over 3%. The bank's MD tells CNBC-TV18 the merger will bring 600 crore rupees of cash onto the bank's books, adding that the bank will raise 2,000 crore rupees by FY24 to meet its aggressive growth targets. Facebook's parent Meta all set to take on Twitter with its new conversation app called Threads. The Twitter rival is visible on iOS and is expected to be available for download after its official launch on the 6th of July. Harley-Davidson and Hero Moto take on Royal Enfield in the 440cc segment with the launch of the co-developed motorcycle. Sources say the bike will be sold at 300 Hero Motor outlets in addition to Harley's own outlets. Pawan Munjal says more premium launches from the Hero stables will hit Indian streets over the next few years. Prime Minister Modi sends out a strong message to Pakistan and China in his address at the virtual Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Says countries must curb terrorism and protect the territorial integrity of all SCO members. Welcomes Iran as a full member. Russian President Vladimir Putin says his country will stand up against Western sanctions and provocations, adding that Moscow will support the transition to settlements in local currencies for foreign trade with SCO members. Ajit Pawar attends the cabinet meeting days after joining the Maharashtra government along with 8 other legislators. Top leaders remain tight-lipped about a possible cabinet expansion. Both Sharad and Ajit Pawar have called for a meeting of NCP MLAs tomorrow. In a second attack of its kind, pro-Khalistan supporters allegedly set the Indian consulate in San Francisco on fire, but no major damage or injuries are reported. The US strongly condemns the violence, calls the attack a criminal offense. China ring-fences itself as the global semiconductor battle heats up, imposes export controls on 2 metals crucial to manufacture semiconductors, says that from the 1st of August, Chinese exporters will need licenses to ship gallium and germanium compounds. Well, another day, another high. The markets posted a record close for the 4th straight session. The Nifty and the Sensex gained over 0.25%. However, mid-caps did underperform today, snapping the 5-day winning streak. And that index closed mildly in the red. Banks, though, rose in line with the blue chips. And that's not all. The market cap of BSE companies hitting a record high of over 298 lakh crore rupees. Prashant standing by to wrap up the day's market action. Prashant, new peaks being hit on Dalal Street.
Well, we're used to 150, 200 points over the last couple of sessions, and today it was not that much. It was 60 points, but nothing to complain. It was another record closing high for the Nifty. Some hesitation as well. I mean, in the morning, right after a very exuberant kind of open on the index, the market sold off. It came down to the today's low, which was 19,300 at 10 a.m. exactly. From 10 a.m. onwards, all the way till 1:30, it was a steady upwards recovery. And after that, there was a bit of a let-off once again. But still, I mean, as I said, it's been super, super strong. Banks, I mean, they'd started to outperform the Nifty over the last couple of days, but today it closed off the day's high, middle of the range for the Nifty bank. PSU banks are the star this week so far, but there also gains were pared back from very exuberant kind of day highs which were made. Mid-caps and small caps, mid-caps slightly lower, small caps slightly higher. Maybe there is a bit of shift happening from the broader markets, these mid, micro, small caps to the large caps now. Gainers on the Nifty, Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, those two doing very well. Bajaj Finance, of course, reported pre-quarterly numbers. Hero, there was news slow with that Harley launch. Tech Mahindra was another gainer that we had. Losses coming through in Eicher Motors, where there is fear that competition is rising with Harley and, of course, now tomorrow Bajaj. Bharti and Axis Bank were some of the other losers that we had. More losers as compared to gainers on the advanced decline. So I'll start with what was down. IDFC First, the swap ratio perhaps a little unfavorable there for IDFC as compared to IDFC First as compared to IDFC Limited. South Indian Bank was down, Tata Communications, HEG, Force Motors, ADF Foods, which was a big 20% mover, gave up some of those gains today. On the gaining side, you had names like Suzlon, PNB, Poonawalla FinCorp, Kaveri Seeds out of the blue came back into very strong momentum. Kaveri Seeds, MedPlus, Greenlam, and a bunch more. It is another record closing high. 5 sessions flat. We've done 700 points. There is no US session today for the 4th of July holiday in the US. The question is, will action shift more and more to large caps, and will the pace perhaps slow down a little bit? That's key to watch. Back to you.
Yes, we will certainly watch. Prashant, many thanks for joining us. Well, he has a big CNBC-TV18 exclusive this evening. In his first interview since the mega merger, HDFC-Bank's chairman Atanu Chakrabarti has said the bank has a huge cross-selling opportunity and that lower cost of funds will make housing growth profitable. Remember, the merger of HDFC into HDFC-Bank came over the weekend. Chakrabarti said that over the next 5 to 6 years, you can see the bank growing at a fair clip across all sectors of the economy. He also said that the focus will be on synergizing post this merger. He said the bank is able to garner its funds at a much lower rate, and that will make the growth of housing not only possible, but also grow at a much faster rate and on the back of good margins. Take a look.
Over the next 5 to 6 years, you can see this bank growing at a very fair clip across all sectors of economy. Housing has, as you see, has already been added. While already roughly 40 million customers were there with HDFC Limited, but unlike bank, they didn't have access to cheaper funds, which were the current account, savings, and so on and so forth. There are subsidiaries in insurance, there are subsidiary in mutual fund, and so on and so forth. So there again the distribution takes place. So there is a very strong cross-sell and distributive part. We had teams at 2 levels. One who were handling the regulatory and the legal part, and a team of very senior management people from both the sides who were looking after integration across 30 areas, and headed by 2 directors from both the companies. In India, housing is just 11%, mortgage is just 11% of GDP. China or Southeast Asia is about 20%, Western countries are about 60%. It's a very under-penetrated market despite the fact that you see a lot of hoardings around.
Atanu Chakrabarti, the chairman of HDFC Bank, on the big merger and the other big bank merger. IDFC is expected to merge into IDFC FirstBank, and that within the next 9 to 12 months. In fact, shares of IDFC surging in trade today, but IDFC FirstBank fell after the merger swap ratio was disclosed. Investors holding 100 shares of IDFC will get 155 shares of IDFC Bank. Abhishek is standing by with the contours of the deal. Abhishek.
Well, IDFC Limited will get merged into IDFC FirstBank. So IDFC FirstBank will offer 155 shares of IDFC Bank for every 100 shares that you hold in IDFC Limited. So the deal price, as per yesterday's closing, is around 16% upside to IDFC Limited. The merger will lead to simplification of the corporate structure that is there for IDFC FSCL, IDFC Limited, as well as IDFC FirstBank. So by consolidating them into a single entity, it will help streamline the regulatory compliance as well. So they need, approval from various regulators like shareholders, creditors, stock exchanges, CCI, NCLT, RBI, and SEBI. As per their release, the book value of the standalone bank can increase by 4.9%. The scheme will take about 9 to 12 months for it to get completed.
We should also remember that IDFC Limited has approximately, give or take, about 600 crores of cash, which we're expecting to come as part of the merger into the bank, into the merged entity. Now, to that extent, the capital of the bank goes up as part of the merger, and that is already factored in that price. Our capital adequacy is now, we just raised some tier 2 capital last week, by the way, of 1,500 crores. Our capital adequacy has become about 17.4%. With this, we'll get some more capital. And of course, raising capital becomes easy. We do expect, by the way, by end of this year to raise some more capital, about 2,000 crores. Okay.
Well, that is the IDFC-IDFC FirstBank merger details. Now, shares of Adani rose in early trade after the company announced that it will consider raising funds. The company's board will meet on the 6th of July to consider and approve the fundraising proposal. The Enforcement Directorate has questioned Tina Ambani, wife of Reliance Group Chairman Anil Ambani, in connection with the alleged foreign exchange violation case. Yesterday, Anil Ambani appeared before the Enforcement Directorate in Mumbai in connection with the same case. Hero Motor and Harley-Davidson have joined hands to co-develop premium bikes for the Indian market. The first offering of this partnership, the X440, is here. With this, both Hero Motor and Harley-Davidson are marking their foray in the 440cc segment. Parikshit joins us now to tell us more about this new product that could emerge as a rival to Royal Enfield.
The X440 will be the most important and biggest premium offering in Hero MotoCorp's lineup for years to come. This has been co-designed, co-developed with Harley-Davidson, manufactured by Hero MotoCorp here in India. The engine has been developed by Hero MotoCorp with inputs from Harley-Davidson, and this is a characteristic Harley-Davidson motorcycle. The sound, the riding ergonomics, the styling and the design are all of that of a Harley-Davidson. So what do you really get with this motorcycle? A 440cc engine, which gives you 38 Newton meters of torque, signature tail lamp, signature turn indicators, the headlamp, all of that is, it will give you the resemblance, the similarities of a Harley-Davidson. Why is it important for Hero MotoCorp? Well, Hero MotoCorp hopes to get an edge in the premium segment with the 440cc motorcycle, and Harley-Davidson hopes to get the scale in the India market. This motorcycle will be sold by Hero MotoCorp not just in Harley's 25 showrooms in the country, but in 300 selected Hero MotoCorp outlets across India.
All that Harley has been doing across the globe for their customers is now only going to get multiplied here through this co-created, co-developed product for Harley-Davidson in India, for India.
It was very clear that we would not leave the market but come back with a much stronger partnership that could produce a product that we probably couldn't have developed and certainly not manufactured in India on our own. So it's a very important product. It plays in the premium segment. It's part of our long-term strategy to selectively expand into areas that we have not traditionally been in.
So this will be important to see how this bet really pays off for Harley-Davidson and Hero MotoCorp. It has been priced competitively at 2.29 lakhs as a starting price. So you will see it competing with the Triumph 400, which is coming up very soon, the KTM 390, the Royal Enfield Classic 350, the Himalayan as well. So let's see how this motorcycle does well for both Harley-Davidson and Hero MotoCorp in India.
Well, from competition in the automotive space to competition in the social media space, Meta is all set to launch its rival to Twitter. Instagram Threads is expected to be launched on the 6th of July. The app is being described as Instagram's text-based conversation app. It will be available on the iOS App Store on the 6th of July. Ashmit joins us now with the details. Ashmit, it's not the cage fight that we were anticipating, but nevertheless, this is going to be an interesting one to watch out for, especially in light of the many changes that Elon Musk is bringing about at Twitter.
Indeed, a fight is surely headed our way. The punters will still be taking bets as far as, if not the cage fight, at least this fight which is coming our way. Come July 6th, we understand that Meta, headed by Mark Zuckerberg, will be coming out with their version of a tweet of Twitter's rival called Threads. Now, what's interesting is that this is already visible on the iOS store. It is expected to be released on the 6th of July, and it is expected to, in fact, take direct competition to the Elon Musk-owned Twitter. Now, there are a few aspects to bear in mind. Number one, Threads, when it comes out, it will, in fact, be number one in direct competition. Number two, it is being linked with Instagram. Instagram, which already has 2 billion active users worldwide, Thread will be hoping that they will be able to capture this market and perhaps exploit these numbers here, 2 billion active users with Instagram. The third is, this is expected to be free, at least in the beginning. Twitter, which charges money for those blue ticks, this Meta-led Threads, we understand, is expected to be free. And that is expected to be something that Meta will be hoping on, will drive more traction on the ground. As far as Twitter action, as far as the reaction to this, well, Elon Musk himself had said that he had remarked sarcastically that, thank God, some of these Meta companies are so sanely run. Meanwhile, Jack Dorsey had red flagged how there could be various data points that could be collected by threads, as has been the history with a number of Meta-related companies. So there is enough action on the ground. July 6th will be a key day when we see threads and we begin to get a picture of what kind of competition Mark Zuckerberg will be posing to Elon Musk.
All right, Ashwat, many thanks for joining us. We certainly will be watching this space very closely. We will head into a break, but coming up next, Ajit Pawar attends the cabinet meeting days after joining the Maharashtra government along with 8 other legislators. That and more when we return. Well, more in our continuing coverage on the Maharashtra political potboiler, newly appointed Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar attended the cabinet meeting today, days after splitting the NCP. Both Sharad and Ajit Pawar have claimed that they are, in fact, the real NCP. They've called a meeting of party MLAs tomorrow, which is expected to be a litmus test for both camps. Ajit Pawar is set to come out with a list of legislators who he claims are with him. Meanwhile, the Congress party and its Maharashtra legislators also went into a huddle to take stock of the development. Santya Gora joins us now with more.
So, Shireen, today was the day that Ajit Pawar, along with his newly appointed ministers, attended Maharashtra's weekly cabinet meeting. But the key question remains the same: which minister will get what portfolio? We are talking about Maharashtra, where in last 4 years, this is for the second time that 3 parties are sharing the power. So, the new power sharing formula, what it's going to be like, is something we all were waiting for. It was expected that it will be decided and declared today, but as of now, Ajit Pawar, Eknath Shinde or Devendra Fadnavis, none of these people spoke about who is going to get what portfolio. As of now, urban development is with Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, an extremely important portfolio for Maharashtra. Home Ministry and Finance Ministry is with Devendra Fadnavis. When Ajit Pawar was Deputy CM with MVA, he was the one who had Finance Ministry. So who is going to get these portfolios? Is there going to be a change in the portfolios? CM and Devendra Fadnavis are as of now holding That is another key question. Now, second thing which is going to happen tomorrow is the show of strength by both Sharad Pawar and Ajit Pawar. Remember when last year, when Eknath Shinde decided to leave Uddhav Thackeray, he actually had a list of all those people who went with him. He revealed that list, made that list public, and he was releasing videos after videos of all those MLAs who joined him. But so far, Ajit Pawar has neither named the people who according to him are supporting him. That list is not made public, no videos, no names. So tomorrow is the day that will get more clarity that which NCP MLA is going to choose which faction. Shireen.
आज जो महाराष्ट्र की राजकीय परिस्थितियां बनी हुई हैं, उसके आधार पर आज अपोजिशन में सबसे बड़ी पार्टी कांग्रेस ही पार्टी है। तो चर्चा होगी और चर्चा के बाद उसका पूरा रिपोर्ट हाईकमांड को भेजा जाएगा और वो निर्णय आजकल में आ जाएगा। नरेंद्र मोदी और अमित शाह की ये स्क्रिप्ट जो है वो प्रफुल्ल पटेल पढ़ के बता रहे हैं।
Well, Nana Patole there of the Congress on the Maharashtra developments. Prime Minister Modi addressed the virtual SCO summit along with Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russia's President Vladimir Putin. This is Putin's first summit after the Wagner mutiny. Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was also in attendance. Prime Minister Modi sent out a strong message to Pakistan and China. He said countries need to curb terrorism and protect territorial integrity of all SCO members. Meanwhile, Russia's President Putin slammed Western countries, saying his country will stand up against Western sanctions and provocations, adding that Moscow will support the transition to settlements in local currencies for foreign trade with SCO members.
कुछ देश क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म को अपनी नीतियों के इंस्ट्रूमेंट के रूप में इस्तेमाल करते हैं, आतंकवादियों को पनाह देते हैं। एससीओ को ऐसे देशों की आलोचना में कोई संकोच नहीं करना चाहिए। ऐसे गंभीर विषय पर दोहरे मापदंड के लिए कोई स्थान नहीं होना चाहिए। बेहतर कनेक्टिविटी आपसी व्यापार ही नहीं, आपसी विश्वास भी बढ़ाती है। किंतु इन प्रयासों में एससीओ चार्टर के मूल सिद्धांतों, विशेष रूप से सदस्य देशों की संप्रभुता और क्षेत्रीय अखंडता का सम्मान करना बहुत ही आवश्यक है।
Prime Minister Modi speaking at the SCO summit. China restricting the exports of two metals which are key for the manufacturing of semiconductors, and this comes as a warning to both Europe and US in their escalating tech trade war over access to chips. These new regulations, which have been imposed on grounds of national security, will require exports to seek a license to ship gallium and germanium compounds starting the 1st of August. CNBC's Sam Badas is here with the details. Sam.
China has slapped export restrictions on key metals used to make semiconductor chips in a move widely seen as retaliation against US efforts to limit technology getting to China, just days ahead of Janet Yellen's visit to Beijing. The controls are on germanium and gallium and will come into effect on August the 1st. China says this is to safeguard national security. It means exporters of these materials will now need to get permission to send their goods overseas. They'll need to give information about where it's going and how it'll be used. And if they don't, they could face punishment or even criminal charges. Now, China is the biggest producer of both these elements. It makes up for more than 95% of global output of gallium, which is used for making chipsets for computers and phones. It also dominates in the production of germanium, which is used in fiber optics, semiconductors and solar panels. One view in the market is that this confirms Western worries that China could use its dominance as leverage to push back against sanctions on its own industry. It also highlights how China wants to keep the metals for itself, perhaps, as it pushes ahead with its own ambitions to gain a competitive edge in the face of that pressure. It comes after the Netherlands announced new restrictions on exports of some chip equipment, a move which is being seen as dealing a fresh blow to China's goals. Those rules will come into effect a month after China's on September the 1st. In Singapore, I'm Sam Vardis. Back to you.
Sam, many thanks for joining us. Now, Indians are more likely to experience more headaches and stress post the pandemic. This as per a survey by Bayer Consumer Health Division. The survey covers 5,300 respondents, and it also finds that Tier 2 cities are experiencing higher stress levels when compared to Tier 1, with higher incidence among millennials. Shilpa is standing by with more details from the survey. Shilpa.
Well, headaches as a direct result of stress are getting worse for Indians, especially in the past year. Now, according to Bayer Consumer Health's Saradon headache report that surveyed 22 to 45-year-olds, over 93% of the respondents have said that they have seen a noticeable increase in headaches as a direct result of elevated stress levels, and over 70% are more irritable because of it and cannot concentrate on daily tasks, and 31% have said that headaches have become more intense post the pandemic. Now, while Mumbai has the most amount of people experiencing stress and headaches among Tier 1 cities, it's actually Tier 2 cities that are experiencing higher stress levels than metros. Now, Ahmedabad, for instance, topped the list with nearly 100% people claiming to have experienced more stress both pre- and post-pandemic as well. Now, before I go into more details, I spoke to Sandeep Verma, the country head of Bayer's Consumer Health Division, on what they found was stark among the survey findings. Take a look.
The starkest finding for us was that post the pandemic, the stress levels of Indians have actually gone up, which was a big surprise for us to begin with, because we thought that pandemic was literally all about life and death and people losing their jobs. So the stress levels and the reasons for giving people stress were really much bigger at that point in time is what we had thought. But then when we did the stress survey this time, we actually saw that the stress levels have gone up. So that was the first stark finding.
What's causing elevated headaches and stress levels in most people is actually work pressure and deadlines. Now, financial problems and rising costs, which was the top reason in 2021, is now the second most common. And interestingly, for millennials, social commitments are also causing stress. Now, women are experiencing higher stress levels than men, with over 90% women, working women, and about 86% non-working women experiencing stress, a number that's higher than the pre-pandemic times. But the survey says that what's encouraging, though, is that a lot more people are now open to talking about the increasing stress levels and are actively addressing them.
Right, Shilpa, many thanks for joining us. Rising stress levels across urban India could be a cause for the headaches that a large part of the population seems to be experiencing. That's the key finding there from the Bayer Health Survey. It's time now for us to wrap up, but before we leave, here's a story from Britain's Orkney Island. It may explore Nordic connection and break away from English ones. The island, with a population of 22,000 people and formed with over 70 islands, plans to leave the UK and join Norway. This decision was taken after they felt financially neglected for years by the Scottish and British government. That's the latest on the international front. Thanks very much for watching Business 360.